Voice of the People is a dynamic and interactive radio phoning show that gives listeners a platform to voice their opinions on current affairs, social issues, and community concerns. With engaging discussions, expert insights, real-time audience participation. Voice of the People. Voice of the People. Monday to Friday from 8:45 to 8:30 a.m. Great morning conversations start here.
This is Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on Power 91.3. You can also catch us live on Dstv, channel 92 on Topstar, as we are also live on Facebook via our social media platform, that is Power FM Zambia. Now, in 2023, the Access to Information Act, ATI, was approved in the National Assembly and was signed into law by the President as it became fully operational. Recent reports do suggest that gaps are eminent in practical enforcement as well as awareness, especially concerning public sector preparedness and citizen access mechanisms. Joining us today on Voice of the People right here on Power 91.3, we are joined in the studio by governance expert and voice of civil rights activist Mr. Brebnar Changala to discuss democracy, accountability with tackling corruption and current affairs with the Access to Information Act, ATI, on the table, a broader political and socio-economic issue to be addressed at large. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. It took me some adventure to find your place here. I never knew Zambia or Lusaka was this big,
yes,
with the dotted radio stations around the city. But good morning to you all.
Okay, well, we're just glad that you were able to make it on time.
Oh yes, but next time we speak on the phone.
No, it has to be a phone call. It has to be an in-person interview.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Changala, how would you describe the current state of governance and democracy in Zambia today?
Good morning once again to you and your listeners. We are under the new Dawn administration, which came to power on the backbone of change. The new Dawn administration came to power on the backbone of the restoration of the rule of law. This is a political party which was in opposition at that time for 23 years. And the current president had failed to make it for 5 times. In 2021, the Patriotic Front had messed up big time, messed up on all fronts, but most importantly on the governance stage. The Kadarism was way out of this world. The abuse of state institution was equally very frustrating. And Zambians needed a change. And many progressive institutions, non-governmental organizations, civil society, and indeed the individuals came on board to redeem the Republic of Zambia by working very constructively to remove the PF. And a new dawn emerged in August 2021. Everybody celebrated because we are starting on a new slate. I am here to tell you that nothing changed. Our colleagues in the UPND were actually admiring the PF. They wanted to be the PF in the UPND Recaria. And that's exactly that we find ourselves in. If you look at the question you have put, governance, and give it a historical perspective, how do you even comprehend that this month the UPND has clocked 4 years in power, and that 4 years it has been an iron fist? The opposition are not allowed to hold rallies. They are not allowed to assemble. In these 4 years, you have to tell me when a notice was given to the police and the opposition went to hold a rally anywhere. It has been that bad. Secondly, the biggest opposition political party, the Patriotic Front, on the 24th of October, the day of our independence celebrations, 2023, 24th of October, 2023, the Patriotic Front was stolen without shame from the legitimate owners. A convention was held at Mulungushe, government facility, well protected by state police, while you and I were celebrating independence. Fingerprints were lifted in the middle of the night on a holiday. Very good efficiency. And thereafter, matters ended up in court. And the PF matters have never been heard for the last 2.5 years. When they went to court, the courts played ball. When the issues went to Parliament, Parliament played ball. Because PF had to die, democracy had to die. These people had to govern without effective checks and balances without a serious opposition. Today, the PF is with one group. When I mean PF membership is with one group of Given Lubinda. The paperwork of PF as a legitimate political party, they are with Chabinga. Chabinga has been handed the papers and he has no members, but just to frustrate democracy. And you'll see publicly without shame, the president is ever with Chabinga and introducing him as leader of the opposition. And Mr. Akande Echilema is well educated. He knows that what he's doing is not right. So democracy is under siege in this country. And it's a pity that we are back to square one. The things we fought against the Patriotic Front are rearing their ugly faces. And we have changed nothing. Thank you.
So then now, in your view, Mr. Brebnar, would you also say that the country's democratic institutions, are they functioning as they should, or are they also under siege?
No, they are all under siege. Let me repeat myself. A government has three arms: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, which is parliament. These have been seriously compromised, if not damaged. Going to court today, my dear listeners, is a huge risk. You don't know where you are going. There are booby traps there. The president, on one score, unprecedented, appointed 20 judges. Who does that? Which is 2 football teams at one go, and littered them all over the judiciary. Some of them, you can go to the social media. Before they became judges, they were hardcore cadres of the UPND.
Are you saying they're not qualified to be where they have been put?
The
judges that you're alluding to?
My dear lady, being qualified is one thing. Being biased is one thing. You're playing with English words. You can be a highly competent medical practitioner, but a rogue. So qualification is one thing. Integrity is another thing. You have a history of Zambians crying foul. First and foremost, they could be competent, but you read the judgments. Maybe let me put it another way. PF matters are the only which are, when adjourned, they have no returnable date. Are you aware? What I'm trying to tell you, when I'm in court today, my matter is adjourned. The normal procedure, the judge or the magistrate will tell me, your matter is adjourned, come on 21st September. Your matter is adjourned, Mr. Changala, come on the 3rd of October. PF matters, you are journalists, you must follow them. Whenever they are adjourned, there is a word, a caveat they put there. You will be advised later. You'll be informed. And you will find the advice later is 1 month. You are in the 2nd month. You are in the 4th month. You are in the 5th month. You'll be advised later. And you can't go and push the judge. And these are simple issues which they complicate because it is a play game. They have connived that PF must die. But if the state is the one accusing Mr. Changala of any offense, you follow the cases in court. I will appear on Monday and the magistrate will tell me, we have adjourned, let's meet on Friday. On Friday we meet, he will tell you, okay, prosecution is bringing a witness, let's meet on Wednesday. These, you even know on Wednesday I'm going to court. Because the state wants to get rid of you very quickly so that you are packed in jail. But where they know they have no case, because on PF, the simple question is, was Mao Sampa convention legal? Did it follow the PF own constitution? And if you look at the convention, when Mao Sampa took the papers to the registrar refused to change office bearers. What did the executive do? You know that as a journalist. They fired the registrar for refusing to change office bearers. They brought in a compliant one who did the change of office bearers because institutions are compromised if governance is fractured.
So now, taking a different turn, I'll say the Access to Information Act has been finally passed after decades of people advocating for it to be passed. How significant is this development for Zambia's governance and democracy going forward?
Very, very important question that you have put up. The access to information, if my memory serves me right, started under the MMD. Somewhere around 2001. I don't think you were any near to journalism, you guys. Successive governments could not actualize it. They were playing games, including journalists who came as ministers, like Dora Sria, who was a journalist, but she left it in the shelf. Everybody, including non-journalists, celebrated when it successfully became an act of parliament. But there is a catch. The access to information is non-operational. Again, it's deliberate. You have celebrated. I'll give you another institution that they have put in a limbo, but it has got full-fledged staff support. The Office of the Public Protector. Do you even know it? The Office of the Public Protector is a constitutional office with constitutional office bearers. It's in IBEX. It's non-functional. It suffers the same limbo as the access to information, whereas it is established with human resource. The Office of the Public Protector is non-functional because a certain piece of legislation, which they call it an enabling legislation, has never been signed or actualized. This is the same fate that has happened to the access to information. They know the media is a very powerful tool. And those that govern us, they don't want the general public, especially the voter, to know their dirty work.
Sorry to cut you off short. So now let's take it back to the cyber security and cyber crimes, which is now into law.
Yeah.
Can we say that that was a good move by the current government?
No. That is to shut you up. If you follow these guys, that's why I said they used to envy the Patriotic Front. When the president was in the opposition, it's on record that he promised the people of Zambia that his first act would be to abolish the access, rather the cyber and what is it called?
Cyber law.
Cyber law. He's going to abolish it. It's on record. And he has not apologized. He has gone to enhance it, to actually eat into your democratic rights. For example, I have a right to privacy. My phone conversation to you is a private matter. Now today, that cyber law want to go into my communications. I don't know what has necessitated that, but that is trying to hold citizenry hostage. They have become the big brother. They must mess us up. They have locked up so many people for what they call hate speech. We are 60 years after independence. Hate speech has only emerged under the UPND. We are 60 years after independence. There is seditious practices. These are colonial piece of legislation which must be used by the UPND to gag you and I. It's very sad, and Zambians must fight very hard to get rid of that cyber law. It is against the Bill of Rights in many ways than one. Thank you.
Isn't it in any way protecting the Zambian citizens?
No. It protects the politicians. And look at this, you're journalists. Why should the cyber law be active and the access to information inactive? The access to information law is beneficial to you and I and to everybody. The cyber law is only beneficial to the ruling class. For your information, this cyber law, you give me a good example. It does not attack members of the ruling party. It's always the opposition and those who oppose them. You will never see a UPND member at court for hate speech. Hate speech is by a certain group of people against another group of people. How they define hate speech, God will tell us one day. And the magistrates are playing ball. And mind you, when you are convicted on this same hate speech through the cyber law, they even deny you bail pending appeal. It's so terrible how you can hold your fellow citizens hostage such that they cannot joke, they cannot say what they want, and they want to behave that them they are angelic. They don't break the law. Only those who hold an opposing view will always break the law. As I speak to you, let me put this thing to you. Not too long before UPND came to power, it was an honor and privilege to appear on TV, radio stations, and in the print media. A great honor. Today, there are not too many people who will do what I'm doing here. Because in what I've said in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know where I've broken the cyber law here. I don't know. Because this is a situation they want you and I to be in. You call me for an interview, even if you have got something to say, I decline, and it works for them.
So are you saying there's no freedom of speech in this current
There isn't. There is abuse of state power. I will give you another example. You media houses, you are so intimidated. I'll tell you one thing. I am in court. I gave an interview to them on TV, and I know they are listening. Last year in May, I was arrested for seditious practices. In other words, trying to put the government in a very awkward situation. An interview to them on TV. Get it from me. Who was the state witness against me? The reporter who interviewed me. You are interviewing me. If today what I've said will take me to court, you will be coerced to come and say things against me. But from what I know about journalism, you do not testify against the source. Neither do you reveal a source if the interview was done in obscurity. Then you make a good story. It's better you go to jail as a journalist and protect the source. When I saw Diamond journalist on the stand testifying against the source, but this is exactly what they want, is to scare all of us. I think you have been around. I don't think there are too many people who want to come to a radio. Because my thoughts are flowing, because that's my constitutional right. I have a right to hold an opinion. I have a right of conscience. I have a right to communicate. I have a right to communicate, to assemble, and indeed have a right to associate. And these rights, they only end when another person's rights start. But if you have seen in recent days, these offenses that are taking us to court, they are not against any individual. They are against the state. The complainant is the state. It's a very interesting period. So, we are trying to get a second liberation to free ourselves, because we voted for the UPND in good faith and for a better life, for a better, wider support in terms of free speech, which gives us free thought, which later on gives us innovation, and later on gives us the freedom that our forefathers fought for. I thank you.
Do you remember that this is Voice of the People? You too can also speak up, have your voice heard by calling us up. That's on 0955-997-997 or on 0979-192-485. In studio with us, we do have, I would say, governance expert and voice of civil rights activist.
I'm a civil rights activist. I am not an expert.
Okay, civil rights activist, Mr. Brebnar Changala, and we're touching on multiple issues such as democracy, accountability, and so much more. So you too can come in with your comment or your question. And I'll say, going back to the ATI, the Access to Information Act or law, what exactly should be done to ensure that it is not watered down or used selectively?
What do you mean watered down?
So in the sense of whereby, as for now, the way it's stalled, right?
It has stalled deliberately, and the media fraternity, you have gone to bed. These guys will not give you that operationalization on a silver platter. They made you celebrate when it passed through Parliament, signed by the President. You celebrated, but then you reached a dead end. Somebody told them, do you know what you have just done? These guys will expose you. You'll be naked. So you have to fight for it. No freedom is given on a silver platter. Fight for it.
Okay. Now, as we move forward, what safeguards should be in place to ensure that the ATI is not watered down, like he said before? And do you genuinely believe to improve transparency and accountability, or are they still the gaps that could limit its effectiveness?
No. Let's cross the bridge when we reach there. You journalists, don't you have associations? You can move the courts. Although the courts, I told you at the beginning, they are actually co-adventurers in this mismanagement of the state of affairs. But you can do it to create a record. Some of us are just going to court for the record's sake. There is a lot of challenges that we face. The Access to Information Act is very, very important. You must organize yourselves, meet the Minister of Information, one moment to the other, and try to meet the President, if you can.
I stand to be corrected. I think CSOs had a meeting about the ATI itself, and they are.
And what came out?
They're waiting to hear the verdict. We had.
When was it? You must be counting days. If you met them in June, May, what? You must not just say we met them. This is the thing I've just said about the judgments, or rather the PF court matters, where they are adjourned sine die. No date, no returnable date. So you meet these people, they tell you, we have heard you, give us time, demand for how long? 2 weeks? 1 month? 3 months? 4 months? When was let me put a question to you now, I'm interviewing you. When was this access to information passed into law? Tell me.
That was 2023.
What is today?
2025.
What's your take? You have been thrown under the bus. It is very quick. How long did they take to enact the cyber laws? How long did it take them and operationalize them? How long? Have you seen the zeal on Bureau 7? How much they are putting, even with the Constitutional Court judgment, that you can't do that. Have you seen the President? He's saying we are going back. Have you heard the Speaker? Because it serves their interests. Now, you journalists, you can also put a caveat. We shall support you on Bill 7. First, give us the access to information. You see, you must not just call people to come and talk here and turn into a very important document into a talk show. You must leave studios and go and fight for that bill, that act. That is your safeguard. That is a safeguard for the people of Zambia. It's not only for the journalists, it's for the wider good of society. Mind you, you are journalists who can do an analysis. You can assess that this government doesn't mean well. And those are facts. They will push what will make the Zambian people's lives difficult. Very urgently. And what will make the Zambians' lives so good, they will pretend they are not listening. But they are listening, but they are saying you are wasting your time. I've given you the Office of the Public Protector. Very, very important. And I want you to read the act. What the function of the Office of the Public Protector. I also want to tell you about the Office of the Anti-Corruption Commission. It has been weaponized against the opposition. Selectively, it clears those that wield power. When the UPND came to power, every Friday there used to be briefing at ACC, where they will name and shame that they are investigating this man, they are investigating Lusambo, they are investigating Manambo, Malanj, they are investigating this and that, they are investigating Tasila, they are investigating Daliso, because they really wanted to break them, even before they go to court, even before they conclude the investigation, they will name and shame. Today, what has the new chairperson told you? We cannot name the 5 ministers that are under investigation. We don't want to push a wrong narrative on social media. When it's the opposition, name and shame. When they're in the executive, no, the social media will judge them prematurely. Will tell you when we are through. That's one Zambia, one nation. No. One Zambia, 2 systems.
Now, which drives me to the next question. So how do you assess the independence and effectiveness of oversight bodies, like you mentioned earlier on, the ACC, the DEC, and the Auditor General's Office?
Let me tell you this. It's not an open secret. On the 21st of September 2021, I'll repeat. On the 21st of September 2021, hardly or less than 30 days after Mr. Hakainde Hichilema was sworn in as President of the Republic of Zambia, Gazette Notice 1123, you can go to government printers, Gazette Notice 1123 created this chaos. ACC reports where now? Answer me, help me.
State House.
Pardon? ACC reports to the President. Go and read Gazette Notice 1123. And I'm also appealing to the listeners. Gazette Notice 1123 moved ACC to the President, moved DEC to the President, Financial Intelligence Center to the President, the Electoral Commission of Zambia moved to the Office of the Vice President. Now, I want to tell you something. These oversight institutions have been weaponized against the dissenting voice, against the opposition. The grand corruption, for your information, is domiciled in the executive arm of government. That's where you find grand corruption. You won't find it in the judiciary. It is there, but not at the scale that you find it in the executive. You will find it in the legislature, but not at the scale. Why is it grand corruption in the executive? They are the people with the money. Now, the executive, ministers, president, permanent secretaries, directors are potential clients of ACC. Can I repeat myself? President, ministers, permanent secretaries, directors, civil servants are potential clients of the Anti-Corruption Commission. They are potential suspects. Now, suspects are the one now superintending. How can a thief be in charge of the police station?
Do you have evidence to prove your claim?
Ask me properly. Paraphrase your question. What claim am I supposed to clarify?
Well, we are saying the bigger thing.
It's the truth. When there is a change of government, who do you see at the courts of law? Is it not ministers who are in the executive? Do you see judges there? Do you see parliamentarians there? This is historical. Whenever there is a regime change, at the moment, there is no minister appearing before ACC, DEC. There is no minister being questioned by anybody today. But can you call me when the regime change, when the government changes from UPND to something else? I want you to give me a call. There will be a queue there. This is historical. It happened to Chiruba. When Chiruba left power, him and all his ministers queued up there. When Rupia Bozanbanda lost power, Rupia Bozanbanda and his ministers were queuing up there. When Edgar Chagwalungu lost power, Chagwalungu, his family, and all ministers and permanent secretaries were queuing up. In Zambia, the only safe former president is a dead one. That's the only safe. If you leave power and for God's own purposes and wisdom, you walk out of power alive, you have another hurdle. That magistrate's court near Chimbokaira. But the question will always arise, Why are these people not arrested while they are still wielding power? It's because they are in charge of the arresting officer. They are in charge of ACC. They are in charge of DEC. They are in charge of Financial Intelligence Center. They are in charge of all institutions of governance. When they lose power, they are so weak because they are not in charge of anything. So the new administration, the same police who are not taking them to court, let me tell you this and tell your people. The same police who are not taking this administration to the police or to SEC, they are the same people who will go to the new administration to say, welcome, thank you for winning an election, but look at this list. These characters who have left power, they were stealing. Allow us to arrest them. Allow us to arrest them. Here, in this country, corruption is never fought in real time. It's always fought in reverse.
Because it's being investigated, don't you think so?
Oh, and the investigations only finish when there is regime change? Oh, that's a good one. Thank you. I like that. I like that. Let's have another question. Zambia is a very interesting piece of land.
Actually, speaking of land, the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 7 of 2025 and the Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill number 13 of 2025 were deferred after facing resistance in Parliament and stakeholders. Would you say that, especially seeing as I'll say trajectory of a number of bills that were put forward, especially this year, would you say is now when CSOs are waking up and they're speaking up?
No, let me tell you this. I belong to OSIDA. And we used to fight when HH won. We had this mandate to monitor him and manage him. We were fighting amongst ourselves that let's give him time. And this is how we lost it. We should have started from the day he started going off the rail. It's not true that civil society is just waking up now. No. What has happened? Trust has evaporated. Nobody trusts this government. So when it brings these bills now, everybody is scrutinizing them. Let me give you a good one, which not even a madman could have drafted and sent it to Parliament. The Lands Deeds Bill, that one was classic. To remove the powers of the courts to settle land disputes and deposit it into a registrar, a junior officer, is not even a minister, is not a permanent secretary, is probably even below a director in the Ministry of Lands, to give out a title and after a terrible hangover, come and cancel it without any repercussions. This is an officer without security of tenure, is an officer reporting to somebody within the ministry where political pressure can be at play, where somebody somewhere would just call a minister or a permanent secretary to say, can we grab that property that belongs to Mr. Changala? Tell that registrar to cancel that title, and you will have power. Today, if that registrar wants to cancel my title, I reserve the right to seek the face of the court with my title and explain. If they insist and the court agrees with me, I will have some compensation. What they wanted to do through the back door was going to be highly politicized, and we're all going to cry at some point because our titles were going to be cancelled willy-nilly without due process of the legitimacy of my property. They will just say Changala talks too much. What makes him talk? No, Changala is a landlord. He's got about 41 tenants. Where are they? They are dotted here and there, and there is a record that runs. Start cancelling those titles. You can't allow such recklessness. And I'm very happy that even private citizens rose and they have woken up. But the catchword which is playing today, the trust that this administration had in 2021 has evaporated. You can even see our government today does not come on a platform to explain their policies and what they are doing. If anything, they have unleashed some characters at their secretariat who speak on behalf of the government when they don't even sit in cabinet. They propound government policies, government directions, and government intentions from the secretariat. We expected those press briefings to be emanating from two big institutions, Cabinet Office and indeed State House. But these two have conveniently taken a back seat. And those who have no authority to talk about our governance expectations have been shunted to the secretariat. And every one day after the other, they are holding press briefing to excite their superiors who have chickened out because they promised so much and they have under-delivered. Thank you.
We did have some civil societies that came last week, and they did say, though, that they have seen, like you mentioned, trust has eroded, it's been broken, but they also are saying, though, that when it comes to the president, he is making effort and strides to actually engage CSOs, to hear from them, but rather it's the people around him that are leading to such confusion. What's your take on such?
We like blame game. Let me put it this way. I will answer your question, but let me put it this way. The UPND administration has wasted 4 years going around the blame game. They have wasted 4 years on blaming PF and ACL. Anything that doesn't work is PF and Edgar Lungu. Anything, 4 solid years. And one wonders, why did we change government? We changed the government from PF, ECL, to the UPND and HH because we wanted them to correct what PF and ECL had messed up. But because they have failed to deliver, ECL and PF will never be out of their mouths. Now, when you say the people who surround the president are the people who are letting him down, that is very, very unfair. Truth be told, we are dealing with a president who is a know-it-all. No matter how much you blame those who surround him, you are being extremely unfair. But also, most importantly, look at the team that the president has assembled as his advisors. Look at them. We are lacking into a peer team, a team that is at the level of the president himself, so that when they meet the president and the president meets them, they will be able to tell him there and then that, yes, Mr. President, you can't do this, you can do, Mr. President. They can engage in a cross-pollination of ideas and have an effective administration at State House. He has assembled a team of young stars as if it's a contest. I'm trying to find a better term. There is a cyber law. The president is not privileged to have a good team, and that was his desire. He wants men and women he can control. One moment I told the president, this I can tell the public, I said to him, I said, Mr. President, I am hearing this, that you are the advisor to your own advisors. You're not listening to your advisors. Instead, you're the one advising them. I don't know what you advise them. In that case, you disband that team. He accused me of trying to go in circles. I should have just plainly told him to say, Mr. President, I hear you are a dictator. I said, I didn't say that. Those are your own words. But you have got eyes, I have eyes. You have been around in this country, I've been around this country. Just look at the team that surrounds the president. Profile all of them one by one, then you will come up with a proper analysis as to why we are in this crisis. Just waking up and blaming his team is not enough. By the way, he assembled that team. Today, there is what Emmanuel Mwamba is calling M23. These are media younglings who support the current regime. But look at the way they are dancing to one individual called Emmanuel. He is one man commando facing a litany of journalists who are on government payroll, including some private medias who have fallen short of their professional glory, and they have surrendered their soul to this regime. Now, no matter how many media men and women this government will engage, they will not achieve anything, because in their marketing basket, they don't have tools. They don't have anything to show. All they will end up is just lying, and lying. Because if this government performs, we don't need too many journalists in government. Zambians themselves will feel it. He who feels it knows it. It's an old song. He who feels it knows it. Thank you.
All right, you can come through. The numbers are 0979192485 or 0955997997. The phone lines are open and you can be part of the conversation. Any comment or question that you have, that is for Mr. Brebnar Changala, who is the civil rights activist and who is joining us today on Voice of the People.
Well, I'll say still going forward when it comes to trust, what would you say are the concrete steps that government should take to ensure that they rebuild trust with society, first of all, but also civil society organizations? What can they do?
Civil society is a catalyst. For this government to win back the trust, it must live their word. Their word must be a bond. There are a lot of promises they made in the opposition, which they have totally discarded. If they can go back, hand back the people their right and freedoms to assemble, they allow the opposition to function freely, they place the state police at bay, because right now they are running this country using force. Not that people are willing to do the things the state wants them to do. No, it's now by force. We have policemen all over the show. Now, if this government can hand back people's rights, freedoms, and liberties, if they can live their word, operationalize the access to information, operationalize the public protector, allow the ACC, DEC, Financial Intelligence Center to report to Parliament and not the executive. They allow the judiciary to be independent without interference. Today, the judges are living in fear, because since Mr. Akayinde Hichilema, I think so far he has removed 7 judges like domestic workers. A complaint is lodged at 9 o'clock. At 16 hours, there is an announcement that the certain judge has been suspended. He's summoned the following day, he appears at 9 o'clock. At 16 hours, there is an announcement from State House that a judge has been removed. There is no security of tenure. How they are doing it is totally unacceptable. Judges must be an umpire and a beacon of true reflection of our independence. The judiciary should have been the last to be damaged, but it has been on equal decline with the other two arms of government. So to gain the trust, they must win it. Today, nobody trusts them. I know you don't want to say it, but wherever I pass, there is a new person. We shall know him later, but she promise. Promise. Now, that's not good for a leader. It sounds like a joke. It's real. If a person in the street can have a name for a leader, for a politician, it's okay. You can say they are politicking. But for a marketeer, to start profiling leaders with the AKA, which means also known as, then we're in trouble. Trust has actually evaporated. It's actually trust that has given us almost 2.5 of morning with the ECR body staying in the fridge somewhere in Musanzi. It's trust. If there was true trust, today we would have moved on. Thank you.
This is Voice of the People, and unfortunately, as much as we'd like to go on and on, as there's so many things that we'd like to touch on, time is not on our side. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today. Do you have any final words to our listeners?
Yeah, I want to say this to the people of Zambia, that you are magnificent, you are dynamic, but many times you are shortchanged. We have a tragedy in this country which we have to overcome. When a political party wins power, they have this misconception that they have bought the country, and whoever stands in their way must be uprooted. When you aspire to leadership, is public service. You must rise to serve your fellow human being without bias, without looking at gender, without looking at skin color, race, tribe, religion, and other negatives, nepotism. You must be a leader that is accepted across the divide. This country today, although our colleagues in government will not want to agree, is divided like it has never been before. We have them, and then you have us. It's them and us. And I urge the President of the Republic of Zambia, this is my clarion call. We need national endeavor. We need the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, where all men and women of all hue and type to come together. The church, politicians, civil society, the youth, the women, those who are physically challenged, let's meet in one room. Things are not okay. And I also urge the President, don't use intimidation, threats, and this message must go down to your lieutenants, the ministers, your party members. Invite us so that we can have an exchange of ideas and find a lasting solution to these divisions. You cannot govern a divided country. You cannot develop a country when everyone every Jim and Jack is pulling in all directions. And lastly, I beg the President, give way. Let Edgar Chagwalungu be buried by his family. I thank you.
Well, this has been Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on Power 91.3 FM.
Voice of the People is a dynamic and interactive radio phoning show that gives listeners a platform to voice their opinions on current affairs, social issues, and community concerns. With engaging discussions, expert insights, real-time audience participation,